It is easy to forget about these kind of things. So when you have a structure that you know this is when you're doing this and this is when you're doing that, these things are not forgotten. Hello, beautiful. Welcome to Gems and Pearls with Love. If you are new here, hello. My name is Caitlin Clarice. On this channel, I talk about pretty much all things biblical womanhood, but I'd say I mostly focus on being a godly wife. I also touch on being a godly mother, biblical femininity, and homemaking, which I'm about to dive into today. I am bringing to you, beautiful ladies, about 5 tips and ways that we as homemakers can be organized and successful in our homemaking. Number 1, have the right mindset. And I definitely believe that this would be the most important of all. Make sure that you are aware of the value that you have as a homemaker and what God thinks about your homemaking. For more details on that, I do have some videos that you can watch and I will link that below. But if you are not giving homemaking the respect that it is due, when people are asking you, well, what do you do for a living? And you're saying, oh, I just stay at home. Oh, I'm just a homemaker. No, you are not just a homemaker. You are a homemaker. You are answering the mandate that God has given you. So make sure that you have the right mindset, that you have the right and correct and biblical thoughts when it comes to homemaking. Homemaking is a ministry, and you are irreplaceable as a homemaker. You cannot hire a homemaker. This is something that you have been called to do for your family. So please make sure that you are walking with confidence when it comes to your role as a homemaker. Number 2 is to make sure you are getting yourself ready for the day. It kind of piggybacks on number 1, making sure that you have the right mindset as a homemaker. The same way how if you have a job or career or even an appointment to attend to, you get up and you get yourself ready. You make sure you look decent to go out to that job. You should have the same mindset when it comes to homemaking. Get up in the morning. If you have to get up a little bit early before the kids are up, go ahead, do what you have to do and get yourself ready. Put on something decent. Make sure your hair looks good. If you want to do makeup, do makeup. If that's not your thing, that's fine. But take the time to take care of yourself and make sure that you physically look good, because believe it or not, how you look affects how you feel, which is going to affect the way that you perform throughout the day. I have a video on why it is important to make sure that you get ready for your day. So I don't really remember what the exact name is, but I will definitely link that either above or below, okay? Here's the thing though, you don't only want to make sure that you are ready physically. You want to make sure that you're also ready mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And how you're going to do that is by making sure that you are spending some time in the Word, spending some time in prayer. But that might look different for each person. If you like to write out your prayers in a journal, you go ahead and do that. If you want to just spend some time worshiping, but I would definitely recommend, if you have to wake up early to do this, then I would definitely say put the effort into setting an earlier bedtime if you need to make sure you get up early enough where you can spend some time with your Heavenly Father. It doesn't have to be glamorous. It doesn't have to be an hour or 2 hours long. If you even have only 15 minutes, at least something to make sure that you are feeding your spirit and to make sure you have your mind ready for your day. Number 3, have systems put in place. I can't really tell you exactly what systems to put in place for your home, because your family and your home and your life is going to look different than mine. However, I will give you guys a bit of an idea by telling you some of the systems that I have in place. So one of the systems I have in place is there's something that I call the clean of the day. And basically what that is I divided the house in, I divided the house in a sense where there are certain rooms and areas of the house that get cleaned on certain days. So for example, I have a living room and I have a front room that can be kind of like a where the kids do their schoolwork, etc. And those 2 rooms get cleaned on Monday. So when I say clean, I'm not talking about the everyday things. Like there are things that need to be done daily, like sweeping and vacuuming, etc. But what I mean is that is the room that I focus on when it comes to a deep clean. So there are things that will not get done. These are things that only will get done once a week. So I would say cleaning the blinds, and just like other, like dusting and other kind of more deeper cleaning things that gets done on that room on Monday. On Tuesday, we call it kitchen day. So again, there are deep cleaning things that we do. So on Tuesday, we have everything empty from the fridge and it gets completely wiped and cleaned out. And then things get put back and nice and neatly. What else? So again, the blinds in the windows. And so just those other things that might not necessarily get done on a daily basis, making sure you're taking, like, everything comes off the counter. So every corner, the whole backsplash, everything gets a thorough clean. We also use that day to restock. So I have my seasonings and spices in mason jars. So those are the days where we refill that, make sure everything is full. And yeah, so that's basically what we do on Tuesday. Wednesday is a bedroom day. And then Thursday is washroom day. So again, more of the deeper cleaning things to get done in the washroom. And then Friday is, we do hallways. What is it? Like hallways and closets. So like that's where we now take out the shoes out of the front closet and make sure it gets swept and it gets mopped. Oh yeah, and then Thursdays, back to Thursdays, not only do we do washroom, we also do laundry room on that day as well. And then Saturday, which is the only thing we do on Saturday when it comes to that, is just the basement. The basement gets a deep clean as well. My children definitely are 100% involved. They all have their roles. Like there's a list, like it's written down. These are the things that need to be done, and there's names beside each thing. So it is not a one-man show for sure. In addition to that, we have what I call monthly cleaning. So basically, it's 1 week of the month where we go through that exact thing, like I told you guys, from Monday to Saturday. And except there are things that we only do once a month. So for example, baseboards. That would be one example of something that only gets done once a month. And the pantry will be completely, because we have like a pretty good sized walk-in pantry. So everything would be taken off from the shelves and the pantry's getting wiped and everything's getting reorganized. So there are some things that we do once a month, and typically, usually that clean of the day monthly, that week that we do that is usually at the end of each month. Honestly, having this system in place has been life-changing because it's easy to kind of forget about some things, like wiping on top of your cupboards and sometimes even baseboards, depending on the room. If it doesn't really, not something that gets dirty too often, it is easy to forget about these kind of things. So when you have a structure that you know, this is when you're doing this and this is when you're doing that, these things are not forgotten. The last example I would give you of a system that I have in place, and I actually just started this recently, I call it just house inventory. So as you probably know what inventory is, it's really making sure you know how much you have of each thing. It was becoming really frustrating when we don't find out something is finishing until it's actually done and you're looking for it and you need that thing. So especially when it comes to something you might not really use often, right? So now what I do now is we have this little kind of chart, kind of like an Excel spreadsheet in a sense, something like that, set up where every week, I try to do every Wednesday, but I'm still kind of figuring out exactly what day to really do it on. But basically every week I go and I fill in what is low. So for example, toilet paper, we only have a pack of 20 left, or for laundry soap, we have, one full 1.5. So that way I'm keeping tabs of what we need, and whether that is dish soap, dishwasher soap, the kids' toothpaste, even things that we need for like lotions, everything, basically everything that we really use. And then also, we also do it for some of the food and things that we use on a regular basis. That is like, absolutely, we need to have this. Like for example, maybe like milk, for example. We usually always had to have milk in the home. So we want to make sure we keep tabs on how low it is so we know when we need to buy it. All right, that was a long one. Number 4 is to make sure you have some form of schedule or at least a routine, at the bare minimum, at least a to-do list. So for me, I have a schedule, and I know some people don't like schedules, but the thing about it is I'm very flexible with my schedule. So if something needs to be changed or shifted around, then I go ahead and do that, and that's no problem, because homemaking, you need to have that. You need to have that flexibility. But for me personally, just my personality type, I find that having a schedule and keeping on a schedule is what helps me to stay motivated and organized and make sure I am getting done what needs to be done. So instead of me kind of spinning around thinking, okay, what should I do next? What item should I tackle on my to-do list next? I kind of know about what time I'm going to tackle each thing. So for example, because I have a business, I know that at 3 o'clock, I'm going to go and start working on my business, and I make sure that I had that set time. At around 10 a.m. or so, I start doing some homeschooling stuff, etc. So being able to kind of have that schedule definitely for me helps. But even if you don't have a schedule, I would say at least having some form of kind of daily routine. In addition to that, I do have a to-do list. So it is part of my morning routine. After I spend time with my Heavenly Father, exercise, shower, get ready, etc., or sometimes in between. But basically, I kind of write my to-do list, and usually either that morning I will message my husband, or the day before I'll ask if there's anything specific that he would like me to get done that day, so I can be sure to add that to the list. So I make sure that I had those things written down, and then throughout the day I go and I check that, because sometimes I honestly think I have everything done and I really don't. But even with that, I am flexible with that. If one of my kids are not feeling well, if I'm not feeling well, and there's something that can wait till tomorrow, I allow it to wait till tomorrow. Oh, there's something I forgot when I was talking about the whole number 3, when I was talking about having a system. Another thing I have is, we call it zones. So the house is broken up in zones. So the family room is one zone, because it's a pretty big area, and then we have the stairs in the upstairs hallway and downstairs hallway, another zone, and then the front area and the front room, we have that as a third zone. So my children are actually have different zones that they're assigned, and it switches every week. It rotates, and they are responsible to making sure those zones are neat and tidy. Because, and that actually just reminds me of something else I forgot to say, is one tip I definitely have for sure when it comes to having a system in place, is putting your kitchen to bed and making sure that you have the home clean before going to bed. Because there is nothing, at least for me personally, I know there's nothing that really kind of throws me off in the day, waking up to yesterday's mess. It's not something that I want to do at all. So unless there's a situation that has to happen, then it is what it is. But if it's avoidable, I definitely want to make sure that the kitchen's put to bed, and the kids, they have their zones that they're responsible for doing a little sweeping or vacuuming to make a little picking up of the place. Maybe just fixing the throw pillows on the cushion, on the couches, to make sure that the place is left tidy. Anyways, okay, so back to number 4. Although I think I covered everything. Yes, making sure that you have some sort of routine or scheduling to keep yourself organized, and make sure that you're not just kind of wasting time, which I know for me, I definitely am guilty of doing if I do not have some kind of routine in place. Okay, you know what's kind of funny is that what I had just mentioned about putting the kitchen to bed was number 5. That was number 5, with putting the kitchen to bed, and I went and added that to a number 3. But yes, number 5 was supposed to be putting the kitchen to bed and not allowing yourself to wake up and deal with yesterday's mess. You want to wake up and start the day fresh, and the best way to do that is to make sure the house is clean before you go to bed. Okay, I'm sure there are a lot more, and there is definitely quite a bit more I'm sure I could go into, but that is all for today. I would love to know if there is any one of these points that you would like me to go further in detail and have a video specifically for that point, and or if you guys be even interested in maybe another what's the thing called again? Vlog. There you go. Another vlog of me kind of going through what I'm doing throughout the day. Like, if you'd be interested in that, let me know in the comments, okay? So don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and I love you all. Until next time, bye-bye.